So as a sales guy, I get asked all the time if I can send a prospect information on their competitors, like how we stack up against A, B, or C competitor. What I do tell them to do is go to G2, who's an independent software evaluator, because honestly, we killed it with them recently. Coro is unique in the fact that it protects more than one avenue in which hackers and bad guys get into your environment, and there's not really a category for that yet. You know, an all-in-one cyber solution. So I don't know if you know the way the G2 quadrants are structured, but up at the top you have industry leaders and high performers, and then niche players and contenders. We are by far in all the categories where we're judged in the high performers category. We just started edging into that, into the market leaders category because we're a fairly new solution. You're gonna get people like Microsoft that, yes, they might be a market leader because they're so massive. We're beating them in all these categories. We're a higher performing solution than Microsoft. Cloud email security, for example. We are, I believe we're the third best, highest performer in the entire quadrant, or in the entire grid. We're in the upper right, the high performer and the market leader. And don't forget, Coro is more than just an email solution. We're EDR, we're DLP, we're user behavior. None of these other solutions even come close to doing that. So yeah, you could patch together a group of 4 or 5 different solutions to do what Coro does. Guess how much that's going to cost? Guess how cumbersome that is going to be to use? You know, Coro is the single dashboard, most cost-effective solution on the market, in my completely biased opinion.